Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to join your granny squares with the help of the seamless slip stitch method. Okay, so if this is something you would like to learn how to crochet, then please keep watching. So just a few quick tips before we start with the actual tutorial. This slip stitch method, which I'm going to do to join my squares, this method can be used to join any type of square. So whether you're trying to join traditional granny squares like this one here, or you want to join solid granny squares, it doesn't matter. You can use this to join any squares. Okay. Another thing is that, of course, before you join your squares, you need to identify the front side of your square and the back side of your square. So if you see very carefully, this is the front side. So how do I know that is when I see the stitches, okay, when I see the stitches on the front side, the stitches will appear more straight. Right, see, the stitches are more straight, more neat in appearance, and at the back side usually the stitches are more sort of curved up, they're more sort of curly, and they have more texture when you touch them, like so. You can see they have more texture and they're more sort of curled up and not that straight as it is in the front side. Okay, so this is the front side and the other one, this is the back side. All right, so if you see here, this is the front side. Okay, this is the front side of my square and this is the back side. So see how the stitches are sort of curled up. Okay, so you need to identify the front and backs of your square. Another thing to notice is that whenever we do crochet, whether it's a single crochet, double crochet, no matter what crochet stitch we do, when we observe the stitches from the top, so if you see from the top like this, okay, all the stitches look the same from the top. That is, they all have this sort of V appearance, this sort of sleeping V, the alphabet V. Okay, so see, there's this V appearance on top of every stitch. There's one V on top of every stitch, right? Can you see that? So this is one double crochet stitch and on top you'll see a V appearance. The next double crochet stitch you'll see a V appearance. Here we have the gap space, so we have a chain one that we do for the traditional granny square, but when we see it from the top you'll see another V. So no matter what stitch we do from the top, they all appear the same. They have this sort of V appearance. Okay, I'll show it to you in this color, maybe it might be more clear. So see that V appearance that I'm talking about, that's the thing that I'm talking about. Okay, this V sort of appearance on top. So these loops, this chain or this loop is where we are going to be working to join the squares. All right, so for simplicity's sake, let's name them the front loop and the back loop. So there are two sort of loops that form your V, right? So you have the front loop here and the back loop, front loop and back loop. So every stitch has a V on top. Let's name it the front loop, the one that's facing us. So this is the front loop and this is the back loop. Front loop, back loop. Okay, so I hope that's clear. So once you've got all this set, get your materials ready, get your squares that you want to join. I would suggest to use the same crochet hook size that you used to make your squares. So I used a 4mm size crochet hook to make these squares. So I'll be using the same crochet hook size for joining them as well. Get your yarn that you want to use to join them and a pair of scissors, and we are ready to begin. So here I've just aligned my squares the way I want to join them. So for instance, I want to join this side right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is hold my squares like this in such a way that the front side or the right sides of my square are facing each other and the wrong side or the back sides of my square are facing apart. Okay, and then I'm just going to get to the side that I want to join first. Okay, so let's say this side right here. So this is the side I want to join. Okay, so I'm just going to keep that there, get my crochet hook, the yarn that I want to use to join, and I'm just going to make a simple slip knot. Okay, so you can make your slip knot whichever way you prefer. All right, and then now we're going to start with the joining. So what you're going to do is start from one corner and you're going to just slip stitch all the way till the next corner. Okay, that's what we're trying to do. And another thing is that whatever stitch that you're going to be working, into the first square, make sure that you're working the same corresponding stitch in the second square as well, so that your squares are joined perfectly. Okay, so what I mean by that is, let's say this is the corner of my square, right? So I have my 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochet here. So I've decided to work into the second chain in this gap. Okay, so I'm going to just identify the V on top. As I said before, we'll be just working into the V spaces on top. Okay, so I'm just going to identify the V space above that second chain. So that's this one right here, right? So I'm just going to be inserting my hook into the front loop. Okay, so that's this one right here. Okay, this is the front loop and this is the back loop, right? So I'll just insert my hook into the front loop, just one loop. Okay, and then I'm going to insert my hook into the back loop of the same corresponding stitch onto this square, onto this square here. Okay, so that's the same. So here I have the gap space, okay, with the 2 chains. So I've identified the V and I'm going to insert my hook into the back loop. So this is the back loop and this is the front loop, right? So I'm just going to insert my hook right there, right? And then what I'm going to do is just make a slip stitch. So I'm just going to grab my yarn like so, okay, and pull through all the loops. So I've just made a slip stitch right there. Okay, so this is how you're going to be working. So you're basically going to be working slip stitches all the way till the end. The only difference is that you're not going to be working into any stitch space or anything like that. You're just going to be working into the front loop on this part of this first square, the front loop on the V here, and the back loop on the second square here. Okay, so let me show that to you again. So here we have the next V, right? Can you see that? Here we have the next V, right? So I'm going to be working into the front loop here. So I'm just going to be inserting my hook there into the front loop of that V, and then into the corresponding V on the second square here. Again, you have the front and back. I'm going to be inserting my hook into the back loop. So that's this one right here. Okay, so see how my hook looks? Okay, and then I'm just going to grab my yarn, pull through, okay, and I've got 2 loops on my hook now. I'm just going to pull through again. Okay, so that's basically slip stitching. All right, so I'm not doing any single crochet stitch or anything like that. I'm just slip stitching all the way. So the main important thing of this stitch is basically to insert your hook into the right loop. Okay, so the front loop of the V of the first square. So again, if you see here, this is my next V here, right? You can see my V here. So we'll be working into this front loop. So insert my hook into the front loop, and then into my second square, this is the next corresponding V. I'll be working into the back loop. So just inserting my hook into the back loop there. Okay, and as you go along, please keep checking that you're not skipping any stitches and your stitches are the same. You know, you're working the same corresponding stitches on each squares. Okay, and just going to grab your yarn, pull through. You have 2 loops like this, and you're just going to pull through again. So basically pulling through all the stitches. Okay, so this is all you're going to do all the way till the end. So you're just going to insert your hook into the front loop on the first square and the back loop of the V of the second square. Grab your yarn, pull through and pull through again. Okay, again, now we reach the gap space, right? So we have 1 chain here, right? We reach the gap space of the first square. We have a 1 chain here. So you're just going to insert into the front loop of that chain. Okay, and then you're going to insert into the back loop of the chain here. So here again we have our gap space, and this is the V on top of the chain 1, right? This is the front loop and the back loop. So you're just going to insert into the back loop. That's it. And then grab your yarn, pull through and pull through again. Okay, so that's all you're going to be doing. So from the first square, you're going to insert into the front loop, and onto your second square, you're going to insert into the back loop of the V on top. Okay, grab your yarn, pull through and pull through again. So front loop of the V of the first square, back loop of the V of the second square. Grab your yarn, pull through and pull through. Front loop of the V of the first square, back loop of the V of the second square. Grab your yarn, pull through and pull through. Keep checking that you are doing the corresponding stitches as well. Okay, so here again, front loop of the V of the first square, back loop of the V of the second square. Grab your yarn, pull through and pull through. Again, front loop of the V of the first square, and here again it is a little confusing because we have our chain, one, and we tied off the end, so don't confuse that. Just go to the back loop, grab your yarn, pull through and pull through. Front loop of the V of the first square. Okay, so this is the middle of our 3 double crochet. This is the middle again. Back loop of the V of the second square. Grab your yarn, pull through and pull through. Okay, so this is how your stitch will look like. So you're basically just slip stitching all the way. The important thing of this stitch is just the loops that we are working. We are not working into the stitch spaces, we are not working into any gap spaces, we are just working on top. That I told you, we have those V loops on top of every stitch, so that's all we are working into. We are just working into those loops. So from the first square we are just working into the front loop of that V, and from the second square we are just working into the back loop and just pulling through. That's it. Insert your hook into the front loop, insert your hook into the back loop, grab your yarn, pull through and pull through. So work that till the end. So I'm almost done here. I'm just going to do that till the end. So I've reached my gap space again. So the front loop, okay, and the back loop. Grab my yarn, pull through and pull through. Okay, just going to chain one for now, just to show you how my squares have joined. See, so this is how you get your seamless join. This is how my squares have joined. So you're just going to continue that. All right, so now you can chain one and then cut off if you're done here. But if you want to join another 2 squares, let's say, so I've joined these 2 right now. For continuing my project, let's say I want to join these 2 here. Okay, like so. If I want to join these 2 as well along with this, what I'm going to do is the same thing. I'm going to just make that sandwich that we spoke about in the beginning, okay, wherein the front sides are facing each other. Okay, and then I'm just going to get the side that I want to join. So let's say here, so I want this side, right? So this is how I want it to go, right? So you're just going to align it in that way, and you're not going to chain one, you're just going to continue slip stitching. So I'm just going to remove that chain one we did, insert my hook, right, and then again you're going to insert your hook the way we inserted for this one right here. So I'll be working into that second chain in this gap space. So we have our 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochet, right? So I'll be working into the V stitch. So this is the V loops on top, right? So I'll be working into, so just identify the chain 2. So this is the chain 2, so that is these 2 V's, right? So I'm just going to be working into this V. So as I said, the front loop from the first square, so just the front loop, so just that one right there. Okay, and then the same corresponding thing onto this square as well. I'll be working into the back loop. So I'm just going to identify the V, so that's this one right here, and insert my hook into the back loop like so. Okay, and then I'm just going to grab my yarn, pull through and then pull through again. So slip stitch. Okay, there's no single crochet or double crochet here, we are just doing slip stitches. Again, I'm going to work into the front loop, so get my V straight. So this is my V's, right? So I'm going to just insert into the front loop like so, onto my second square, the back loop, like so. Grab my yarn, pull through and pull through again. So slip stitch, again front loop, okay, back loop. So this is the V here, back loop like that. Grab my yarn, pull through and pull through again, slip stitch. So just keep making sure that you're working the corresponding stitches and you're good to go. The front loop from one square, the first square, the front loop, just the front loop, and then from the second square, just the back loop. So this one, right? That's it. Grab your yarn, pull through, pull through. So that's it. You're just going to work like that all the way till the end. Okay, it's pretty simple, right? There's no much, there's nothing much. You're just going to slip stitch. Once you get the idea as to where you're inserting your hook, that's the difficult part to understand and to explain. Once you get the loops right, then it's very easy to join the squares with this method, and it gives you a seamless effect. Okay, so I'm just going to work all the way till the end and I'll be back. So here I've just wanted to show you I've reached the end right here. Okay, so I finished this side as well, and then you can just keep going on conjoining your other squares as well in this direction, and then once you're done, you can open your squares like this. So this is the front view, and then you can just join them along this line as well. Okay, so this is it for this tutorial, and I hope you could follow this tutorial and this was fun to do as well. Please give this video a thumbs up if you could, and subscribe to my channel for more crochet tutorials, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.